Welcome to SQL 101. In this course, we are going to be learning SQL. We're going to be learning how to run queries. We're going to be learning what those queries are. And just in general, why would we learn SQL? When you're done with this course and the next course, you will be proficient in database management, and you will know how to use one of the most important programming languages when it comes to working with databases. Now, SQL is a programming language. However, you cannot run any standalone programs when it comes to SQL. SQL is a programming language that was created to work with large amounts of data and therefore with databases. So what you see on the screen right now is just an example of database management system. This is just an example. So any database management systems that you will be working with will look different. However, this is just for us to not get confused with any background processes. This is just for you to see how SQL works. Now, on the right side of the screen, you will see table names. So a database consists of tables, and these names are the names of the tables that we have, and each of the tables will have records inside of them. Let's try to see what one of these tables look like. This is just an example of how your database might look like. In this case, we see our customer ID, customer name, contact name, address, city, postal code, and country. Each one of these are what we call columns. Each one of the columns will represent a certain parameter that will vary on whatever you need to store. In this case, this table just represents customers. So customers for some hypothetical company that we are working for, right? You are supposed to be running a database for some company that has customers, categories, employees, order details, orders, products, shippers, and suppliers. Now, the one important thing that you need to know, the first thing that you need to know is that everything that you will be typing and searching is called a query. Queries require keywords. Whenever you use those keywords, you can narrow down your search to find important information that you might be tasked with finding. Now, why would we use it? Well, instead of just looking through all of these rows and searching for information that we need to find, the queries come for help. And if you know how to run a query, if you know how to write it, your life will get so much easier with finding whatever you need to find when it comes to data. Now, one of the first things that we're going to be focusing on in this video is the select statement. Everything that you want to find will come from a select statement. Now, select is just a keyword that basically you're saying select this from a certain table for me. So one thing, you can either specify the name of the table, the column that you want to find, or you can specify a certain, you can specify multiple columns that you want to search. In this case, if we want to search, for example, all of the customers' names, we want to see what our customers' names are. We would search for customer name, right? The name of our column right here, customer name. So we're selecting customer name. After that, we need to specify where we're selecting that column from. In this case, we are selecting it from the table called customers, right here, customers. So we need to, after that, we need to type the keyword from. We need to specify where we're getting this information from. This case, we're getting it from customers, right? Now, all of your query will end with a semicolon. Similar to Java, just remember that everything will end with a semicolon. If we run this query right now, what's going to happen is we're going to see just all of the customer names. Run the query, boom, we only have the customer names available to us. So these are all of the customers that we see. All right, one thing to know, if you want to display everything that that table has, you just need to put a star. It's very simple. You put a star. A star means you're going to select all. If we run this, again, we see everything that exists within that table. One of the things to keep in mind is that SQL is not case sensitive, so that means that select all lowercase will mean the same thing as select all uppercase. But it's just a common programming practice to write all of the SQL keywords uppercase. So that's why you see me typing them uppercase. Now, semicolon, some databases will require you to put a semicolon at the end. Some database management systems will not. However, just keep it in mind that your system might require a semicolon. So as a good practice, just keep putting a semicolon everywhere after each of the SQL statements that you run. Now, these are some of the important commands that you need to be familiar with, and we will go over every single one of them when time comes. But just a general idea, select, that's the one that I just show you. It just extracts any data from the database. Update will update any data in the database that you want to. Delete will delete a data. Again, it's pretty straightforward. There's nothing too complicated. You just need to know that these exist and you need to know what they are doing. Insert into will insert new data into a database. Create database will create a new database. Alter will modify your database. Create table will create a certain table. So not a full database, it will just create a new table for you. Alter table and drop table, they're the same as create and delete. So creates a new table, deletes a table that already exists. Create index will create a search key. We'll get to that later. Drop index will delete that search key. The next thing that I will introduce is the select distinct. Select distinct is a very useful feature that will allow you to select certain data without any duplicates. Don't mind my cat. Without any duplicates that exist within your table. Now, let's try doing that. For example, right here, we have countries that duplicate, right? If we want to see which countries our customers are from, if we just run country, we will get all of these duplicates. See Mexico twice, UK twice, and so on, so on. If we want to select just the data without any duplicates, you will use the keyword distinct. After you use that, you will get just the countries that exist in our table without any duplicates. So we went from having 91 number of records to 21. So you don't have to go and manually search for those countries. The database, the SQL will do it for you. The next thing that we're going to cover is the where clause, and where is a very useful feature that's going to narrow down your search. So if your search has to be very specific, if you don't want everything that exists within a database, you will be using the where clause. So you can specify multiple things to filter out your records. In this case, if we wanted to see all of the customers that exist that are just from Mexico, we would specify that the country has to be Mexico. One thing to know is that any string that you're specifying in the where clause has to be within the parentheses, the single quote, not parentheses, single quotation marks. Now let's try that in our database right here. If we want to see all of the customers, customer name from customers, where, let's say our country equals to UK, we would run a simple query like this. And here are all of the customers that we have that are from the UK. Now, if we want to see all the customers from Canada, we can do that. We only have 3 customers from Canada in our table. Now, if we want to get all of the information about the customers that are from Canada, again, we just put a star. And here's all of the information. You see that the country is Canada, so therefore they are from Canada. This is exactly what we search for. Here are all of the operators that you can use when it comes to the where clause. You can use all of these when you're searching for certain things, equal, greater than, less than. Again, you are familiar with these. This what means that not equal. However, sometimes you might have to use the exclamation point with an equal sign to say the same thing. Now, between, we're going to focus on between, like, and in a little bit, but all that you need to know is between will search for a certain range. Like will search for a certain pattern when it comes to strings, and in will just specify multiple possible values for that specific column that you are searching. Now, this is it for this video. Let me know if you guys have any questions, if you need any more specifications on how these work. And I encourage you to go try it yourself. You can just type SQL exercises. You just go out there and try them yourself, try to run some queries. It's always good to practice. See you in the next video.